voice on recording. So I thought for this project I'd have some of my kids help me out. So enjoy what they have to
Mrs.
say.
Rowdy is the curriculum leader for the whole science department for the middle school and high school. She spent the last 3 or 4 years helping the science department focus on what we really need to know to head to college or our future jobs with the skills we need to succeed. I think that's pretty important work.
Some lessons about life choices through junior achievement. They helped us learn how our education, career choices, and the way we spend money might affect our lives. After all of our lessons, we went to Finance Park where we participated in a simulation activity. None of this would have been possible if Mrs. Arati hadn't planned and organized these activities for us. Did you know that she organizes and plans a school-wide educational field trip every year, which is usually at least partially funded by Cole's grant she applies for?
At a brand new, beautiful school, but they get to learn and grow in it, which will also be a journey for some things called PBIS. I don't know a lot about it, but it sounds like it's going to be a great opportunity for these kids to help create a safe, healthy environment to go with the new building. I didn't know about it until just recently, but it turns out that Mrs. Arati has been working hard behind the scenes with a group of teachers to get the system up and running. She'll be part of the group that teaches the teachers how to effectively do it and teach the kids how it works. I sure wish we could be part of it, because it sounds like a lot of good things are coming to KM.
Mrs. Bingers is the district literacy coach. What might be hard to imagine what literacy has to do with science, they have been working together to show us that the two subjects actually work together to help us understand science topics on a deeper level. The research project that we did on climate change was a great example of how reading and researching has helped me from fact-based opinions on controversial current science issues.
School website. I've been on there a couple of times because Mrs. Arati sends out pictures of the fun and exciting things we are doing in science class. My mom loves it too. She always shares the post with all her friends and family.
Special events just for us. Things like the lock-in and promotion. My mom and dad both came to chaperone the lock-in. There were so many parents and teachers there for them to talk to and hang out with that they don't even embarrass me this time. This year, my dad even played on the teacher's team in the basketball tournament. I was afraid he might break a hip because he's so old. It is so much fun for my whole family. Promotion is coming up soon and I'm nervous. My parents and grandparents will be there. I sure hope my mom doesn't cry. I mean, I'm just changing buildings. Anyway, Miss Arati is the teacher that plans all these activities for us. Without these things, school wouldn't be the same.
Other teachers. I don't mean to eavesdrop, but I've heard some interesting things. Once in a while, I find out what the teachers have planned for us ahead of time, or what we are going to talk about at our class meetings. I think I've heard them call these meetings of the leadership team. I guess that's because they make decisions about what happens here that might affect the whole building.
Teachers asked Mrs. Arati for advice a lot. I know last year she was meeting a new teacher after school a lot. They talked about all sorts of things like grading and how to deal with kids. I hear her telling other teachers she'll share things with them on Google Docs all the time. And I know other teachers ask her to help with things a lot. It seems like she always makes time for anyone who needs her help.
Any other science class I've ever had. I heard things changed a couple of years ago. Now our classes use Google Classroom a lot. I like it because there are many different activities she puts in there for us to learn from. We also get to learn in small groups with her, which gives me the opportunity to ask questions I might not ask if I had to do it in front of the whole class. We also use a smartboard to do some of our small group learning. It really helps me to understand the topics better.
Mrs. Rowdy everywhere. Seriously, around every turn. If another teacher's missing and doesn't have a substitute, Mrs. Rowdy takes over. I went to a high school volleyball game and there she was, working the score table. I've even heard on the weekend she's at school working with the racket club in spring. My brother had to go to a school board meeting for one of his classes, and he even said she shows up at those. Doesn't this lady have a life?
No.
Speaking of not having a life, do you know how many things she coaches and advises? Racket club, 8th grade volleyball, 6th and 7th track, and 8th grade track, and ski and snowboard club. Wow! Not only that, but every year either she runs in or volunteers for the Keys Run. Whoa. I I do think, though, she should train a little harder. Mr. and Mrs. Groenhouse beat her by a lot every year.
She sucks!
Even with a stroller.